I'd like to call to order this Wednesday, November 3rd, 2021, regular meeting of the Board of Education. Will you please call the roll?
Mr. Gomez?
Here.
Dr. Hall?
Here.
Ms. Moffitt?
Here.
Ms. Schofield?
Here.
Ms. White?
Here.
Item 2, motion to approve the agenda. It's recommended the Board of Education approve the agenda of the November 3rd, 2021, regular Board of Education meeting. Action by the Board of Education in adoption of a consent agenda means that all items are adopted by one singular motion unless a member of the Board of Education, treasurer, or superintendent requests that any such item be removed from the consent agenda and voted upon separately.
So moved. I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? When we approve this agenda, it will include the appointment of our library trustee as item 1 under board business. Please call the roll.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Dr. Hall?
Aye.
Ms. Moffitt?
Aye.
Ms. Schofield?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Item B, board business, executive session. It's recommended that under pursuant to Ohio Revised Code, section 121.22G1, it's moved that the board adjourn to executive session for the purpose of considering the appointment of an employee or official of the school district.
So I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Dr. Hall?
Aye.
Ms. Moffitt?
Aye.
Ms. Schofield?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
5:27, and we're back in public session, and we're ready for our opening ceremony. Item C. Welcome our vision, Cuyahoga Falls City Schools, the hub of our community, committed to a culture of caring. We innovate, we create, we personalize education for all. Our mission, every student, every day, every opportunity. And a special welcome this evening to our top Tigers and all their friends and family who are here to support them. We can't wait to celebrate you. Before we begin more of the formal portion of our meeting, I'd like to thank our community for the renewal of our district's operating levy yesterday. Please know that we are truly grateful for your continued financial support. We understand that this support carries with it an expectation that we remain vigilant stewards of our district's funds. We take this responsibility seriously and are committed to providing your children with the best education our precious tax dollars can provide. Thank you all. Informational items. This meeting is a meeting of the Cuyahoga Falls Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business. It is not a public community meeting, although there are opportunities for public participation. If an individual wishes to address the board regarding a topic found on the meeting agenda, the individual must complete a registration form found inside the attendance notebook and present it to the treasurer. Following the introduction of the topic by the board president, followed by board discussion, the individual will be recognized. If an individual wishes to address the board regarding a topic not found on the meeting agenda, she or he must notify the superintendent and/or board president of the topic no later than 3 business days in advance of the meeting. These individuals may share their comments during the board business portion of the agenda. In both cases, the individual will preface comments by an announcement of his or her name and address and limit comments to 3 minutes. All statements should be directed to the board president. No person may address or question board members individually. In addition, in public session, the board will not hear complaints about school personnel, nor against any person connected with the school system. An unabridged board agenda for this meeting can be found on your electronic device at the address shown on the screen. For your convenience, hard copies of the board agenda may be found on the desk by the window. The next regularly scheduled meetings of the Cuyahoga Falls Board of Education are on November 17th, December 1st, and December 17th at 5:30 p.m. There's a special Board of Education meeting on November 10th at 5:30 p.m. in the Cuyahoga Falls High School Library, 2300 4th Street, Cuyahoga Falls. There's a Finance Committee meeting on November 11th at 9:00 a.m. in the Harold E. Wilson Administration Center, 431 Stowe Avenue, Cuyahoga Falls. And there's a Business Advisory Council meeting on November 23rd at 8 a.m. in the Harold E. Wilson Administration Center, 431 Stowe Avenue, Cuyahoga Falls. And now for our Pledge of Allegiance and Positive Reflections, Mr. Anthony Gomez.
Will you please stand as you're able and join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our positive reflection tonight is kindness never goes out of style.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez. Now we're ready for presentations. Our top Tiger recognition, Mrs. McClure.
Good evening, everybody. Just if you've not been here before, our Top Tiger Award is a board award. There are 2 students from each building nominated each month for showing those top Tiger qualities and character traits that we're looking for in all of our students. It is a sponsored award, and one of the biggest sponsors is our Cuyahoga Falls Alumni Association. And I'm going to introduce Mr. Gary Metcalf, who runs up that association, and he's going to give you some more details.
Thank you. Congratulations, all the top Tigers, for another job well done. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Donato's Pizza, Dietz's Florist, and Young Screen Printing, who provided the bags. We also, one of the awards of being a top Tiger, you get a beautiful t-shirt, and cross our fingers, in May we will march wearing these t-shirts in the Memorial Day Parade. So see me afterwards right outside in the main hallway, and you can pick up your t-shirt. The foundation has helped with the new entrance to Clifford Stadium. It's called Tiger Trail. And if you've never seen it, there are bricks that are engraved, and you can still purchase them. And when the new stadium is built, they will all be moved up to the new stadium. The school's foundation and alumni association helps different classes with their reunions. We offer all class reunions. We honor distinguished alumni every May. And most of all, we have scholarships for graduating seniors. Last May, we offered 58 scholarships worth over $131,000. We could not have done it without our alumni and other supporters. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Redcap. So when Top Tigers, when I call your name, you're going to come up front and you're going to get your bag and a flower from Dr. Cruz, and then I want you to stand right here so everybody can see you while I'm reading what your teachers have nominated you for. Inside your bag is a copy of the nomination form and a certificate. There's a Top Tiger pin, there's a bracelet, certificate for Young's screen printing, a certificate for Donato's Pizza, all kinds of good stuff in there. So all of those things. Nice job. Okay, so are we good? We're ready to start? All right. So our first Top Tiger tonight is a 4th grade student from DeWitt Elementary School, Ellie Oxley. There she is. So Ellie was nominated by the 4th grade teachers, Mrs. Sabaticki, Mrs. Fromson, and Mrs. Arante, and here's what they have to say. Ellie is an amazing addition to our 4th grade team this year. She always comes to school with her big, beautiful smile, eager to learn. She is excited to learn new things and actively engages in lessons in all of her classes. Ellie is extremely respectful of her classmates and teachers and always offers to help in any way that she can. Ellie always has a kind word to say to her peers, and her positive attitude is contagious. Ellie works very carefully and always takes pride in her assignments. We are so proud of Ellie and her daily Black Tiger Pride example. Congratulations, Ellie. Good for you. Our next Top Tiger is also a 4th grader at DeWitt Elementary School, Max Gonzalez. Max was also nominated by the 4th grade staff over there at DeWitt, and they tell me that this young man has been a wonderful example of Black Tiger Pride. He sets an example each and every day by showing up ready to learn and excited about what the day holds. He takes pride in his work, strives to do his best on each and every assignment, and is not afraid of a challenge. He's not afraid to ask for help or clarification when he feels he needs it. He participates daily in all classes and shows respect for everyone at all times. We are honored to present Max Gonzalez as our Top Tiger. Congratulations. Nice job, Max. Our next Top Tiger is a 5th grader from Lincoln Elementary School, Peyton Spalding. Peyton was nominated by Mr. Kieram and Mrs. Zelenka at Lincoln School. They say Peyton is a model scholar. She is hardworking, intelligent, kind, and thoughtful. Her attention to detail, willingness to put forth the effort that growth requires, and commitment to excellence are apparent in everything she does. In addition to her academic leadership, Peyton is a model of character and kindness in everything she does, from assisting the kindergartners in her daily interactions with her 5th grade peers. Peyton is an aspiring chef, and if she continues to pursue this talent, we may be lucky enough to enjoy a fancy dinner at her restaurant someday. Congratulations, Peyton. Good job. Our next top tiger is also a 5th grader at Lincoln Elementary, Alejandro Taurus. Alex was nominated by Mrs. Schleybaugh and Mrs. Van Horn for the month of November at Lincoln. Alex is a sweet young man who loves to help others. He is always kind, considerate, and respectful to all he encounters. Leadership comes naturally to Alex. He sees what needs to be done, and he immediately gets to work encouraging those around him to help. Alex demonstrates a real stick-it-to-it attitude when faced with any challenge. This is evident in his art. Alex's leadership is appreciated by all of his teachers and all of his peers. Congratulations, Alex. Good job. Our next top tiger is a 4th grader from Preston Elementary School, Madison McKinney. Madison was nominated by Mrs. Schmelzer at Preston for the month of October. Madison is an amazing 4th grade student. Every day she enters the classroom with a smiling face, a positive attitude, and a dedication to work hard. She's a team player in every sense of the word. She not only wants to do well for herself, but for all her classmates too. Madison is responsible and always comes to school prepared and ready to learn. She sets an excellent example of what a leader should be. Madison is an asset to our classroom, and I'm honored to work with her. She definitely earned the title of Top Tiger. Congratulations, Madison. Our next top tiger is also a 4th grader at Preston Elementary, Riley Longitano. Riley was nominated by Ms. Homan. Riley Longitano is a very responsible 4th grade student at Preston Elementary School. He applies excellent effort into everything he does. His daily work reflects his positive attitude towards school. Riley lives out our Preston Pledge promise every day. I can always count on him to be kind and respectful. He is very willing to help and include others. I feel very fortunate to work with such a terrific, self-motivated student. Good job, Riley. Congratulations. Our next student is a 5th grader at Price Elementary School, Annie Nicodemus. Annie was nominated by the Price 5th grade team, Mrs. Estes, Mrs. Beisel, and Mr. Zink. Annie has proven to be a hard-working, conscientious black tiger at Price Elementary School. She is an engaged learner who is excited to share her ideas during class. Annie shows respect at all times to herself, classmates, and the adults in our building. This young person is a responsible member of our learning community and has made the effort to make others feel welcome and included. Annie is a wonderful black tiger. Congratulations. Our next top tiger is also a 5th grader at Price Elementary School, Von Herrig. Vaughn was also nominated by the 5th grade team over there at Price. Vaughn is a welcome addition to our 5th grade learning community. He is a bright, responsive student who learns quickly and is willing to offer input to others. Vaughn does his best to practice safety throughout the school space. This youngster has an optimistic attitude. He takes responsibility, turning in quality work on time. Vaughn exemplifies black tiger pride. Congratulations. Our next top tiger is a 4th grader at Richardson Elementary School. A 1st grader at Richardson Elementary School, nominated by Mrs. Taraji and Mrs. Mishler, Sophia Tovar. Sophia Tovar is a curious, hardworking student who always comes to school ready to learn. Sophia has shown to be a responsible, kind, and focused student who always participates in class. As Sophia speaks a little Spanish, she helps us read the words in some books that have Spanish and English words. These are all the reasons why Sophia is our top tiger this month. Way to go, Sophia. Good job. Our next top tiger is a 4th grader at Richardson Elementary School, Sholanish Oyola Valentin. Sholanish is an excellent, enthusiastic student who loves learning. She always tries her best and participates in all subject areas. Sholanish is hardworking with an inquisitive mind that has her asking many questions in class. She has many friends in 4th grade as she is a caring, considerate person that is infectious to others. Sholanish is a good role model for our other students, and we are so proud to nominate her as our top tiger at Richardson Elementary School. Congratulations, Sholanish. Our next top tiger is a 5th grader at Silver Lake Elementary School, Megan Tomlinson. Megan is such a pleasure to have in our class. She exudes Black Tiger pride in all that she does. She is a kind and respectful child to everyone. She comes to school every day with a positive attitude, a smile on her face, and ready to learn. Megan works hard and participates in all lessons and is willing to help her classmates. Our class would not be the same without Megan. Congratulations, good job. Our next top tiger is also a 5th grader at Silver Lake Elementary School, Miles Schultz. Miles was nominated by Mrs. Rediker over there at Silver Lake. Miles is a brand new Black Tiger in our district and brings to our classroom a great example of Black Tiger pride. In the classroom, he displays kind, respectful behavior towards his teachers and classmates. He is ready to learn and works hard listening during class discussions and on his independent work. He is helpful and works well with other students. I have enjoyed having Miles in my classroom, and he is a great addition to our Black Tiger family. Congratulations, Miles. Good job. So I have 4 additional top tigers who are from the middle school that the last time we did top tigers was we had that little power outage issue, remember? And so there was some confusion about if we were having our meeting or not. So I'm hoping they are here tonight. An 8th grader from Bolick Middle School, Elena Poland. Is Elena here? So I'm going to just read about Elena. Sorry, they're not in the right order. I do? Hang on. Oh, there. I got it. Thank you. Apologize. So many papers. Elena is a very artistic student who enjoys anime. She hopes to play volleyball in high school. And in writing class, Elena is very attentive and participates in activities. She is always respectful and a great role model for our Black Tiger family. Elena is often seen following Black Tiger pride expectations across all school settings. Elena, your great improvements have been noted by many staff members, and we believe that your concentrated efforts will continue beyond. You are destined to do great things. Congratulations on being a top tiger for Bolick Middle School. The next top tiger from Bolick Middle School is Landon Mckinney. Landon here? Landon was nominated by Mrs. Kucharski and Mrs. Alio. Landon enjoys playing football. In writing class, Landon is diligent and asks questions. He's not afraid to ask for clarification. Landon puts forth a lot of effort to keep his grades up in class. Landon, we know that with that positive attitude you have shown so far this school year, you will go far and be very successful. Congratulations on being a top Tiger at Bolick Middle School. Next top Tiger is a 6th grader from Roberts Middle School, Riley Waples. Riley was nominated by the entire Roberts staff. Everyone who knows Riley sees what a fantastic young lady she is with a smile that can light up any room. As a student at Roberts, Riley has made an impact in a very short period of time. Her teachers love how respectful and conscientious she is and how she always strives to see the good side of things. We love her courage and dedication to making school work, even when things are stacked heavily against her. As a person, Riley is a true fighter who refuses to give up. That is something we try to teach all of our students, but for her, it is a natural part of her DNA. She may not know this, but we have learned a great deal from her as to what it means to get going when the going gets tough. We are overwhelmed with Black Tiger pride to have Riley as our top Tiger. And finally, from Roberts Middle School, 8th grader, Ariana Parrianos. Ariana here. Ariana was nominated by Mr. Coe and the 8th grade teachers at Roberts Middle School. Ariana is an unbelievably talented student who strives for perfection in class. This is seen daily by her teachers as she is always willing to answer questions, work in groups, and master any assignment given. Although math can sometimes give her trouble, her teacher has no doubt that with her work ethic, she will excel there as well. Ariana also deserves tremendous credit for the way she carries herself. All staff and students speak to her overwhelming kindness and willingness to help others. With these traits, her excellent grades, and phenomenal work ethic, she will absolutely go far in life. Congratulations to Ariana for being a top Tiger.
Thank you. Now, top Tigers, remember Mr. Medkeff is in the hallway for you to pick up your top Tiger t-shirt that you'll be able to wear in the parade. So go ahead and get out there. He's got all kinds of sizes for you. Let's give one more round of applause for all our top Tigers.
If I could ask you just to stay, we do have a staff recognition award that I think it's important for our kids to see that as staff members, we also like to recognize each other. So we have the Shining Star Award, and this is an award, as I said, that staff nominates other staff members in appreciation of their hard work. So for this month, it's Mrs. Dawn Forshee. If you want to come on up, Dawn. Dawn is a paraprofessional at Price Elementary School, and some of her staff members, a couple of them actually, nominated her. And this is what they had to say. Dawn Forshee is a kind, patient lady who treats everyone with respect. She is humble and deserves to be recognized. We have a new 5th grader at Price, and Dawn works directly with this child. He has continually made gains under her loving guidance. His ability to remain calm and work hard with her direction is to be commended. She's an outstanding role model. Dawn is a quiet treasure at Price. She genuinely cares about her students and is a great help in the classroom. Over the past 2 years, she has worked tirelessly to make students' lives better. She is currently working with a student who is nonverbal and is always thinking of different ways to engage him in the classroom. And I know I speak for everyone at Price as well as myself that we appreciate everything that you do for us. So along with, this is our Shining Star Award. If I can open the box so we can show everybody. Maybe not. There we go. So it's something that you can have and then you can display in your classroom. So. Would you like to see?
Absolutely. I want to be thankful for the fifth grade teachers that I hear nominated me and all the staff at Price Elementary. It's nice to be recognized, but I'm not one for the spotlight. I like to do my work because that's part of my job, working with the kids to help make them better and learn more, make them smart. It's just not me, it's the other staff members that I work with, like Mrs. Kim Valente, Jordan Holmes, Janelle Patchen, all the teachers, Faisal, all of them at Price Elementary. They work just as hard as I do. I want to thank them for their hard work to help make me and my job easier. Thank you.
So that brings us to the end of our recognition part. So now you can go get your t-shirts and maybe ice cream or something like that. Thank you for coming. Have a great night.
They delayed that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We scheduled that meeting for the 18th with the planning
Yeah,
committee.
I saw that.
I think that's important.
I do too.
I contacted him probably as soon as I heard it because I didn't want him to talk to people about learning and giving them benefits. I didn't want to put him in that position.
Is it?
He was like, oh, I said, yeah,
You mean it was
you do
bad?
so much. I don't want to put you in a position of saying something and then it wasn't true.
Oh,
And then your credibility. I said, we can't afford Tim Bellamy to not be credible. You do too much for us.
Well, I'm glad you could come. It was nice to see you guys. My pleasure, absolutely. I was surprised when you said, well.
Mrs. Stoikar, are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay, let's go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Okay. So before we get into the details of the emergency levy plan, I have to tell a short story, and I was asked to put together, that there was something funny in this. I was asked by cabinet today. I didn't have anything, and I thought, well, I can throw something together, and then I did something unfortunate today, so it made it a lot easier. So, today, my very nice, try and get everything done, and we have 3 brand new board members and one that was also reelected, and I'm trying to get everybody set for the OSBA conference that takes place next Sunday, Tuesday. And in my email, I thought it'd be nice and start off with a congratulations to those 4 members. And I was thinking to myself, I'll say, I think I speak for the rest of us. And then I thought, no, I'm just going to say me. And then later I went back and looked at the email after I received a response and realized I wrote the sentence, I think I'm looking forward to working with each of you. So therefore it was very awkward and cringy. And I thought to myself, you can go to the next one. This is going to be a story of my day in memes here. That's how I felt, a very, deep, aching sense of dread. Oh, no, oh gosh. And then I started to get a little irritated because there were other people that are my coworkers that were on this email, and nobody said anything to me. And so It's too much for me right now. I went out and I asked my own assistant. She tried to play it off as if I wasn't in the room when she read it, and I thought no, and she said, I really just want to let it play out. And then my phone started going off. And there are two women that you can get the next one. That then sent on the side to me. You can hit the next one. They were like, "Oh my God!" And I was like, "This is not funny. This is not funny at all." Even though I was laughing, I thought, "How should I do that?" So I responded to them, and I was like, "It's not. No, it's not. Nothing about that is fine." So now, going into my emergency levy presentation, everyone will be participating. Thanks for that. Thank you so much. But to move on, as we go into, they say it's an emergency, but is it really, Gina? And so if you want to pull up the spreadsheet, that was my faux pas for the day. Apologies again. But congratulations to each of you. I did write back and say I am in fact looking forward to working with you. Maybe not so much the people I currently work with anymore after that.
Oh, gee.
Not only did they didn't tell me, they just texted to laugh.
We were in a meeting.
Yeah. You were able to text that it was pretty funny. Okay, so you have this in front of you, and I'm not really going to go over the first couple pages in detail. It's just kind of a recap of things that we've already gone over. You'll see the very first year, FY18, everything has been complete with that year, with the exception of we have one final payment on the bus that the bus leases that we did in the original year of the emergency levy, and that will be paid off this spring. So once that is complete, we will be done with everything in 2018. And moving on, we are the same. If you scroll to 2019, we have 2 more payments on that bus lease, and those are in the spring. So that will bring us to 2020 school year, so 1920. As I mentioned, most of this we have gone over before and in the spring. I think the last time I presented this was in April. Most of this was complete. You can see that we do have a few things that are still not complete. The professional development for the math, the maker space, those are still kind of pending in process at this moment. We got a little behind on some of the makerspace issues due to COVID and our need to really purchase a lot of Chromebooks at the time. So that kind of took back burner. That's being reevaluated at this time going forward. So now, all the other stuff. So, fiscal 21. And like I said, we've gone over some of these before, so this would have been last school year. Some of these are still in process, and some of them were completed last year. So starting at the top, capital improvements, we purchased 2 buses at the beginning of last school year. We also purchased 2 used vans, and I believe, then we also did lawn and garden, was budgeted for $42,000. We bought 3 Kubotas, one with a snow plow, for the maintenance operations departments, and some of this may be repetitive from April because we may have purchased it already, but I'm going to go over it again. On the agenda for roofs, we were able to do Price, Richardson, and Schnee sections of those. As you can see, most of those expenses, no, all of those expenses, did not hit until fiscal 22, which would be this year. So those were projects that were done. They were board approved in the spring for summer work, and they have now been completed. On that section, you can see we budgeted $600,000. We came in about $26,000 under that versus the plan. Potholes district-wide, and the DeWitt Playground was also done as far as paving of parking lots. We had put $150,000 originally. Other than DeWitt, we really didn't have any major repairs or repaving to any of the building parking lots. So compared to our original plan, we came in about $85,000 under what we anticipated originally for that. So here's where a couple things come in that are were not originally in the plan, but are certainly qualify as emergency things that we just, we had no way of knowing these types of things would come up at the time that this plan was made. So the first one is the Schnee renovation. So I think most of you know that in order to build and move forward with the 612 building project over on the Bullock and Newberry campus, Newberry eventually has to be demoed. With that is where the preschool program was housed. It's run by the Summit County ESC, but it is housed in one of our buildings. So in order to let that possible demo happen, we knew it would happen at some point this year. We renovated the other wing of Schnee in order to accompany those preschool students this year. So we were able to do that, but obviously that was an expense that we were not anticipating out of at all, but it was able to be put in the emergency levy fund. There was a lot of work done at Schnee. I don't know, Joe, if you want to speak a little more to the specifics, the exterior, the building, all sorts of different things.
Yes, thank you. We had exterior work done to the building, tuck pointing. We had cement work, a lot of cement work right in front of the entranceway to the new pre-K. We had the outside playground outside one of their doors. It was all re-asphalted. We spent just over $300,000 for the roof over that wing. Had to be totally tore off and redone. There's new flooring through all of that section. There's new lighting, brand new LED lighting. We have brand new fixtures in the restrooms. We have brand new stalls in the restrooms. We have motion sensor lighting in the hallways and in the restrooms. And we did some replacing of some stairs, major job out back with some handrails. And we did an extensive amount of work, plumbing work, as I said, electrical. So there's been a lot of work done to that building to renovate it and to get it where it is now.
So in addition to that line where you see Schnee renovation, the roof is not included in that portion. It's included in the portion up above. So it's a significant amount of work and expense to go along with that to get Schnee in shape, which is probably long overdue, but in shape for our preschoolers. Another one with the addition of media production in the Career Tech program. We added and redid some of the rooms in the high school to accompany that. So you can see that so far we've spent a little under $100,000. In total, we're projecting about $200,000. That includes all equipment, technology, and otherwise. Ryan, you could probably speak better to the specifics of what was done.
Sure. So in there we've added, because of the nature of the content, programming content, they need higher power computers. So we've added 6 higher power workstations and really a fairly complex audio setup that once complete, some of the hardware is still actually on order from August because of the way the supply chain is going right now. We will be able to, in partnership with the city, through a private fiber optic line, broadcast our studio, their studio, halfway between. We can do some really neat creative audio productions, both live and on the air, and also in booth for future broadcasts.
So those are, as Ryan said, some of the stuff we're still waiting on. It's in progress. Similar to Schnee, most of Schnee is complete. We are just waiting on some final invoices and stuff to finish that off, and that's why it's not in green yet. Boilers, we're in the same situation. I know Joe's waiting on a couple things from them before we pay the final invoices. You can see we did Preston, Price, Richardson, and Silver Lake. Originally allotted $600,000. It's slightly over that by about $17,000 projected. Obviously, we haven't gotten our final invoices and everything yet. So far, we've spent about $262,000 on the boilers at those 4 schools. We also did some exterior LED lighting at the elementaries and Roberts, and I believe the year before that we did a little bit at the high school and Bolick, so this was just kind of rounding everybody out there. Not a significant cost, but something that was necessary. It cost us about $25,000. And I believe we spoke before about the air handler, the train air handler in the spring. I will let Joe speak a little more to that because he knows more about it now.
No, it's a major air handler at the high school, and the one that supplies fresh air to the 1, 2s, and 3s, the sections. And we tried fixing it ourselves. Guys did a fantastic job of trying, but it didn't work, so we actually had to buy a whole new squirrel cage, a whole new unit, bearings and everything. But now there's air circulating through the 1, 2s, and 3s section of the high school.
So, and again, not a significant cost, but still something that was not originally anticipated. It was $8,300 in total. Technology-wise, fortunately, due to a lot of our ESSER funding, our other coronavirus relief funds from the state, we were able to do a majority of our Chromebook purchases through that and not through the emergency levy plan as originally anticipated. We did spend about half of the amount that was budgeted for Chromebooks and carts out of emergency levy last year to supplement all those other funds that we used. But we were able to do the staff upgrades, all of those other things in there with our federal grant dollars as opposed to emergency levy. One instance, and Ryan, I'll let you speak to a little specifics after I give the general. We did upgrade, do the radios for security purposes at all of the buildings. I believe we're just waiting on the final payment for that. That was about $26,000.
Like all things, we're waiting for them to arrive.
Yeah.
There's a really, really urgent need for radio communication within our buildings. So we needed to tackle that issue. It was becoming a concern.
So, but really overall, you can see what we had originally anticipated in technology was around $500,000. And in total, we're looking at maybe a little under 200,000 from what was anticipated, thankfully due to some of the funds we received due to the pandemic. Under curriculum, this is kind of going to take a similar theme to the FY20. We are still in the process of the K-5 science committees are still currently looking at those textbooks adoptions right now. So those have not been purchased. There is slotted some language arts professional development, and I believe that's intended for the 612 group. And then obviously we have more makerspace, which we're still looking into now exactly what needs to be targeted there and what we need to do with all of that. So all of those are currently works in process at the moment. I think I've mentioned before with the textbooks, especially with the pandemic, we got a little behind in the versus the plan versus when the adoptions were. So we're kind of playing catch up with that as we speak. And then obviously down at the bottom, we haven't mentioned this yet, but given last year, and it'll be also in FY22, except we only have a certain amount of expenditures, we have our human resources element of everything. So it's a continuation of a lot of the items that we started off in the beginning. Our Tier 2 ISGI, a credit recovery ISGI, additional monitor positions, an intervention specialist, additional CTIS, and our community relations component. So in total, we had budgeted about $480,000 originally, and in total it was about $491,000 for the year. So a little bit over, but not by much for the end of last year. So we ended last year with total expenditures of about $2.1 million out of the emergency levy. You can see current cash balance, and that's just looking at a snapshot of fiscal 21. So not counting any carryover money from before, just looking at strictly the revenue we received in 21 versus the expenditures. We received about $3.6 million in 21. So that gave us a cash balance of about 1.5 million in 21. And if you add that to what we have from the previous years, we ended the year with a cash balance of about $5.7 million in our emergency levy fund, which provides us with a kind of that hammock of security net there for these things like the Schnee renovation that needed to be done quickly, the addition of the production studio. You will see going forward here, and I will jump to 22. One of the items on here that was not originally on here was the Silver Lake Playground, which again, this is still, much like Ryan said, something we're waiting for that to be complete, to get going. That in total is about $150-some thousand. We are only using $100,000 of the emergency levy funds. If you recall, and I may have mentioned this before, the previous bond issue, not this current one, but the previous one was completed and paid off final payments a few years ago. So there were some excess funds left over from that. And the district then can go to the Summit County Budget Commission and ask if those funds can be transferred out of the bond fund into a permanent improvement levy fund. And so that is what happened, and that was a little bit before I came here. So there was a remaining balance in there of about $55,000 that we used towards the Silver Lake Playground for that. Obviously, permanent improvement funds have limitations to them. It has to be for capital equipment, things that are going to have a life of 5 years or more. It can't be used for salaries or anything like that. So we thought this would be a good use towards the Silver Lake Playground, and then following the rest of it with the emergency levy funds. So a lot is not quite done here in FY22. A lot of our projects, and especially our bigger ones, don't get started till the spring because we need the summer to complete them. We need students to not be in the buildings. But currently, the plan for this school year, we did purchase 2 buses in the beginning of the year, so we had an additional 2 buses, which came in about $9,000 under what was budgeted. Right now, we have 2 vans as well, the roofs and parking lots. All of those are pending evaluation of what our actual needs are at the time. Obviously, looking at this, and we did revise this once a couple years ago, especially after the passage of the bond issue, of how much money do we want to put in some buildings that we're not necessarily sure if they'll have students in them in the near future, or how long they'll be around. So we kind of look at this stuff as on a year-to-year basis of what is really necessity for us that needs completed, over the course of the next maybe 5 years. And then looking past that, obviously, there's a lot of unknown. We moved some people over to the operations office, and since Joe and Ryan just love to spend money, we did have to accommodate a few people over there. It was not the nicest place, and now we knew with a little more foot traffic of possible community members and staff that we needed to do a little bit over there to kind of make it look more presentable and be able to accommodate the extra people. So we did take that out of there. That was around $17,000. Food service has really, Chef Bill had come to me before this year regarding some real concerns he had about some of their equipment. And there's a couple things that are included in this food service section. Some were emergencies that happened and we just needed a replacement. There was no way we could fix anything, and we had to replace it. What he originally came to me last year, and a big portion of this is replacement of cafeteria tables in some of the buildings that have been around for, I know Anthony said probably since as long as you were there, you at least.
Not before.
And so we did start the replacement of some of those for the students because of their just older. It's hard, especially with the pandemic, I think kind of exacerbated that, and not being as mobile as some newer things were, and being able to kind of move kids around to stay separate. So we did start that this year. And in total, that's about $73,000. We have equipment was planned for operations, $25,000. We're looking at so far I know you've done the salt hopper, the stair cat that we've purchased. We're looking at lawnmowers for the spring. Again, pending some evaluation of different things. That is what will fall under that. I know Ryan has a whole plan for our Chromebook cycle here and everything. Obviously, we're in pretty decent shape right now, again, given the federal funding that we received. So right now, there's not an immediate need for those funds in technology. But as you can see, we've been able to use them for things like media production that would fall under that purview. And similar to what I said with the curriculum, as far as last year's, what was on the plan, and this year, we are still a little behind. So we have language art 612 here, along with more professional development, social studies resources. Obviously, as you know, we are still in the literacy pilot this year. I think that was on the plan like in FY19, doing some development now with science committee, and things like that. So those are all kind of lagging behind a little bit from where they were originally intended. And then the continuation of all the same personnel that we re-employed a few years ago. And so far to date, we're at about $143,000. We have received our first half settlement, second half technically, of the calendar year, first half for fiscal year. So we received a little under 1.8 million. So far we've spent 1.5, which is a positive result of 225,000. So now we sit with a cash balance of a little bit under 6 million. We'll start receiving that second half fiscal year, first half tax year, in the spring. So starting February, March, we will see that. And then I believe, if I remember correctly, there's only a half year left on the original plan. So I know we have discussed that levy also expires at the end of next calendar year, so something we'll need done. We have begun developing another 5-year plan for those items, and looking at each of our departments and kind of seeing from here what needs to continue. A very similar process to the original 5-year plan, and we don't expect to really deviate from that process very much, but we just started working on that now that we have this renewal behind us. We do have 2 next year levies, one being the emergency levy. So I'm sure at some point in the spring, late winter, we'll be presenting some sort of new 5-year plan for future years for this emergency levy renewal that is coming up.
Would it be possible at our next meeting to put that just as a discussion item, so as board members we can kind of throw some ideas out of things we see that might be needs?
Yep.
And then you all can take that and
Yep.
figure out how that all gels together in a real plan.
Yep.
Thank you. I have a question for Mr. Brigatti about our buses. Are we in good shape now, or do we realistically need to continue to purchase to replace new buses?
Well, if we were to stop today, we obviously we anticipate we are going to have to transport high school students. So we are going to need to continue to buy new buses. But as far as our fleet goes, as far as age, we're in great shape.
Okay. And then we'll need to do expansions over there, correct?
Yeah, I
With
have to
that
talk to
green
TDA
space.
about that front. They're going to really have to get working on that front piece of land that we did not want to sell, and thank you for not doing that, because we're going to need to put employee parking, my feeling is, out there to have additional space for the buses to keep them inside the gate.
And then, so I know we're behind on makerspace, I understand why it makes sense. So does that just get held like every year in Ryan's budget, is that just there held, until we can decide what we
Yeah,
want to do?
so we
Where does
keep
that
these
live?
funds in a separate special cost center, so it's easier to track and keep. So, while it is general fund money, it is kept separate from the rest of the pot of general fund, for that purpose, so that for those things, we keep track of the plan versus what we actually have, as you can see, what our cash balances and everything is. So, we moved some things around a few years ago when we revised it after the bond issue. I anticipate kind of looking at the same things when we're looking at the next 5-year plan as well, including some of the things, that we haven't been able to get to yet or didn't need to get to.
My last thing is I'll just continue to advocate to redo the parking lot at Roberts, because even if we're not going to use that building perhaps in the future, it's an important parking lot for our middle school sports that utilize those fields across from there. It's always full, and right now the lines you can't really see. It gets a little dangerous at times. So
Yes.
I think that parking lot is still a priority. It's still a need for our community.
Yes, sir, that's actually the roof at Roberts and that parking lot are next.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Other questions, board members, for Mrs. Stoikoi? Thank you so very much for
Thank
the
you.
updates. Item E, Treasurer CFO's business by consent agenda. Ms. Christie Stoikoi.
Thank you. I'd like to recommend the Board of Education approve all items listed in the treasurer's consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion on these items?
Just real quick, the appropriation amendment, it's just one appropriation. I mentioned before our auxiliary schools, Chapel Hill is no longer receiving their funds through us. We had done an additional decrease to accommodate that, but now they've kind of have some estimated per pupil figures for our auxiliary schools, so, and their ADM numbers over there. So we were able to kind of, true that up a little bit. So that is the only change, that you see on here. And donations. Pull it up. So, we've spoken before. We received the 2,000 birdie bags from the Ben Curtis Foundation that went district-wide. The Cuyahoga Falls Oktoberfest donated $500 for the track and cross-country program, along with Offshore Books donating $300 for the same track and cross-country programs. Dr. Kenneth Callahan, a new book, Julian New Beginnings, and then Student Treasures Publishing gave a variety of school supplies to Richardson. So always appreciative of those.
We certainly are. Roll call, please.
Ms. Moffett?
Aye.
Ms. Schofield?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Dr. Hall?
Aye.
Ready for treasure business. Any comments this evening?
I do not, as I mentioned last time, we're not looking at any kind of updates to the formula on my end until December. I will be presenting the forecast at the next meeting. I also would like to thank the community for approving the renewal. It really helps us continue to build on our healthy cash carryover and fiscal stability that we've been able to do the last few years, which really makes life easier for a lot of people, especially a lot of people that have experienced something much different. It's just one less thing in this crazy world right now to have to worry about. So I wanted to thank everyone for that, and I did want to congratulate the 4 members that were elected. I think I'm pretty sure that it's going to be good. So I just wanted to congratulate you, welcome the new members of the board, and thank you.
Thank you, Stoikoi. Item G, Superintendent CEO's business by consent agenda. Ms. McClure?
Thank you. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve all items listed in the superintendent's business consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Roll call, please.
Ms. Schofield?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Dr. Hall?
Aye.
Ms. Moffett?
Aye.
Any comments this evening, Ms.
Well,
McClure?
I'm just going to continue to echo and thank the community for supporting our renewal. It, like Christy said, it helps ease all of our jobs a little bit to know that we've got some flexibility and don't have to make as many tough decisions. I'd also like to welcome Mrs. Schaefer, Mrs. Coco, Mr. Harris to the board. As I told them earlier, no give backs now. I'm here. Congratulate Mr. Gomez on staying on for another trip. And I'd also really like to thank Mrs. Schofield, Mrs. Moffett, and Dr. Hall for serving on our school board. Let me start the thank yous now because, you know, 4 more.
Yep.
So
Maybe
thank
you'll show up in my next
you.
presentation.
Maybe you will.
There's always hope, Mrs. Stoikay. There's always hope. Thank you, Ms. McClure. Item I, board business, new number 1, library board appointment. It's recommended the board appoint Robin Worthington to serve as the Board of Education's representative on the Cuyahoga Falls Public Library's Board of Trustees.
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion on this item? Roll call, please.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Dr. Hall?
Aye.
Ms. Moffett?
Aye.
Ms. Schofield?
Aye. Item 2, future agenda items. We are going to have our friend of education at our next meeting recognized.
Sometime I would like an update on the ODE's whole child framework and the HOPES project that we're looking into. I don't know when that would maybe be ready, but I'd like to see that. And I'd also like an update on the wellness and success, what they're doing, where we're heading. And that's, I don't, again, know when, whenever would be best for those people to present something to us. But those things really, I haven't heard for a while, and I'd like to hear something on
Thank
those
you,
things.
Ms. White.
Thank you.
Other items, board members? We'll move to item 3, committee reports. Alliance for School and Community Growth, Mrs. Moffett.
The committee will be meeting next Tuesday.
Thank you. Athletics and Activity Council, Dr. Hall.
I was not able to attend the meeting, but there are minutes awaiting my review, and I'll report back.
Okay, great, thank you. Board Policy, Ms. White and Mr. Gomez.
Don't think, nothing at this time.
Business Advisory Council, Mrs. Moffett and Ms. White.
I think we are meeting November 23rd at 8 a.m.
Financial Advisory Committee, Dr. Hall.
I look forward to seeing everyone on November 11th.
Thank you. Foundation and Alumni Association, Mr. Gomez.
We meet next Tuesday. I'm hoping to get back in town in time.
And Legislative Liaison, anything to report?
The governor finally signed the financial literacy bill that gives us the leeway to hire substitute teachers that do not have a bachelor's degree. So that is good news as we go. We know that there's a sub shortage everywhere, at least in the state of Ohio. So that's good news to give us that flexibility. And then you've probably seen, because it's been made national news, the changes to the State Board of Education. 2 members were asked to resign because they didn't have support of the state senate to return. And I'll say that I was personally very sad. I've met Laura Kohler. I've spoken with her. She's a phenomenal human being. It's the loss of our state to not have her on our State Board of Education. I was also disappointed that our State Board of Education member voted to rescind the resolution that talked about racial equity in our state and replaced it with something that gives lip service to the issue at most and doesn't really give anything to help students that need help. I'm very disappointed by that, so that's what I have.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez. Under Student Achievement, the next district leadership meeting is scheduled for Monday, November 15th, so I'll have an update for you at our next meeting. And from the Ohio Department of Education, as part of their ongoing virtual meetup series, Wednesday, November 17th from 3:30 to 4:30, ODE will be sharing a cross-curricular unit they created for grade 3 that integrates state standards from math, language arts, science, social studies, technology, and the arts. The unit centers on what they call one of Ohio's treasures, the wilds. And any meeting participant who tunes in for that hour is able to receive a copy of that unit to use in their classroom. And what a great way to model a cross-curricular, standards-based unit for our elementary staff. So if anyone has an opportunity to tune in, 3:30 to 4:30, Wednesday, November 17th, the cross-curricular unit on the wilds. Now we're ready for comments, and this evening we begin with Dr. Hall.
Yeah, thanks. I don't have a whole lot to say. I just, again, thank you to the community for the renewal of the levy. And congratulations to our incoming board members. I think you're going to do great. That's about it from me.
Thank you, Dr. Hall. Mrs. Moffett.
The same. I am so pleased to see that we don't have to struggle, that our levy was passed. Thank you to the community. Welcome to the people who will be taking these seats. It's a relief. It's a bittersweet relief to be leaving. My family will appreciate not hearing board business, school business, probably for the first time in 50 years, because I've been with the district for that long as an employee. So I'd like to thank everyone, even though it's a bit early, for being able to represent you all these years, and so look forward to the new faces on the board. I do have a question, though, for Mr. Bagatti. Are you attending Capitol Conference, Mr. Bagatti?
Yes, I am.
All righty. Do you happen to know if there's a program that will be there for you to let you folks know how we can attract bus drivers? Do they have anything that will be addressing that? Because I know it's a common problem, not just in our district, but in other districts.
I believe there is. I looked through it, and there is a couple about busing. I believe one of them was about the trouble we were having with getting bus drivers. I don't know the specifics on it, though.
Alrighty, well, if you could attend that or get some information and bring that back to us. I don't know what the magic cure is, since it's a statewide problem and a national problem, but I'm hoping that we can attract some fine people to drive the buses for our system, especially when we have high school kids
Yes,
on board. So thank you.
you're welcome.
Is that it, Mrs. Moffett?
That's it, other than I'm looking forward to seeing Blue by our high school students.
There you
It
go,
should be
that's
fun.
right.
I
Yeah.
watched the movie just to prepare myself, and I'm sure that our students will outdo the actors in the movie, so should be fun.
I'm up next, and I have two things. First, I'd like to thank all of our elementary parent organizations for planning special fall events for our children and their families, from a Monster Mash family dance to a costume parade to trunk or treats in the parking lots. You certainly provide a fun evening for our kids, and we're grateful for all you do. Secondly, October is National Principals Month. And in honor of this special month, I'd like to acknowledge each of our Cuyahoga Falls building administrators by name. So at Bullock Middle School, Carrie Walters and John Myers. At Cuyahoga Falls High School, Allison Bogdan, Tom DeFrancisco, Rob Sloan, and Jason Smith. At DeWitt Elementary, Jennifer Scala. At Elizabeth Price, Amanda Wyckoff. At Lincoln, Tracy Early. At Preston, Tammy Brown. At Richardson, Julie Hall. At Roberts, Chris Geyer. And at Silver Lake, Hillary Freitag Geiger. And I'd like you all to give them a round of applause for the work that they do.
That's what they get for leaving early.
Thank you,
Thank you. Comments, Ms. White?
Yes, I was lucky enough to attend the One More Time band concert. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It was so good. They always are. And I'm sorry because my granddaughter graduates, so that was her last concert. So it's kind of a happy time, but also sad as well. But it was wonderful. And if you get a chance to ever go, go. It's well worth it. And I also wanted to thank the community for passing our levy renewal. And I also have an article. I know. I know, I'm sorry, but this is so good.
No, can't claim it.
We're gonna have
Okay.
to put you back in the.
They always make fun of me. It's okay. I don't mind, you know. I'm
Thanks,
used
Ms.
to it.
White. Mr. Gomez?
Well, he can go before me if you want. What Mr. Rogers can teach us about teaching. And that just went to my heart. So what exactly can he teach us about teaching and caring for children? And of course, you know, he always came in singing, "Won't You Be My Neighbor?" And he really said that you need to have a kind, caring, trusted member of the community where children attend. Not somebody that's their friend or their peer, but somebody they can trust, an adult that they can trust. And he stated, not only must we form and maintain an individual connection with every child we teach, but we must create a safe and comfortable environment in which children can form connections with one another. And he says that trust between teachers and students is the effective glue that binds educational relationships together. Furthermore, the most important thing we can do to build trust within the classroom is to show vulnerability, allowing children to see us as imperfect human beings. Well, I did that quite a lot, in my class. They made fun of me too. It's okay. But we laughed, and we laughed together, which was fun. Children need to know that even when adults make plans, sometimes they don't turn out the way we hoped, and that is so true. And he always would just keep that into his shows to show kids that, we make mistakes. And he would put that in his shows just for that purpose. He understood that healthy relationships don't appear magically. They take a great deal of thought and effort. As he put it, mutual caring relations require kindness, patience, tolerance, optimism, and joy in the other's achievements, confidence in oneself, and the ability to give without undue thought of gain. In an era when students' behavior, needs, and achievements have come to be viewed as data to be collected and reported by subgroup, we can easily forget to see and attend to the actual children in front of us. Rogers reminds us that children aren't empty vessels into which teachers simply pour facts. Children come to the classroom with feelings, concerns, anxieties, and joys. As teachers, we must acknowledge that every child brings something of value to the classroom, and we must clearly demonstrate the feeling so that each child can see it. Children who do not feel accepted and valued or feel they are flawed in some way can feel shame, a sense of unworthiness, and disconnection. We can take concrete steps to minimize these experiences by, for example, putting students into heterogeneous groups such that no group is identified as the low-track kids. Discussing students' misbehaviors with them privately and intervening at the first sign of bullying. By creating an environment that respects cultural diversity and affirms each student's unique personhood, teachers are in fact telling students, "I care about you." And that's when we learn best, when people care about us. And I think that's true no matter what age. And I'll just finish. We should actively practice nonviolent communication, and this is defined as language that helps people see the beauty in others without diminishing the beauty they see in themselves. So it was just, I thought, heartwarming and a wonderful article. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Gomez?
I too was able to attend the One More Time concert. It was wonderful. We back to a little bit of normalcy once again in the auditorium. I had a great opportunity to go to 3 trunk or treats that our elementary schools had, hand out candy to the kids, see their costumes. They had a blast. They got more candy than I think they know what to do with. And I just want to thank the community for renewing our levy. We are always so grateful for that. We never take it for granted, and we take seriously how we spend your funds. And I think you saw from Ms. Stoicoy tonight, we couldn't have a better person tracking those funds and making sure that they're being responsibly appropriated. I want to start the thank yous to Ms. Schofield, Mrs. Moffett, and Dr. Hall for their service to our school board. I've learned from each of you in different ways, and it's been a joy and a pleasure, and whether you like it or not, we'll have a big to-do in December.
We will.
We're already planning it. And I just want to thank the community for letting me stay and keep doing this work. It's very humbling, as we've all experienced. It's a humbling experience to be entrusted with the responsibility to do this work on behalf of the community. And I'm so grateful to the 3 wonderful people that stepped up to join in on this work, and I look forward to seeing what they'll do for our district.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez. That finishes up our comments for this evening. We'll move to item J, executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 121.22G1. It is hereby moved that the board adjourn to executive session for the purpose of considering the employment of a public employee.
Second.
Discussion? Please call the roll.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Dr. Hall?
Aye.
Ms. Moffett?
Aye.
Ms. Schofield?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye.